Hey everybody, welcome to Write With Us. I'm Micah Craddy, as it says below, head of writing at Arc Studio and Butterdocs. Arc Studio is the app for writing your scripts, and Butterdocs is for writing everything else, like maybe a novel or, whatever's in your heart. Before we jump into it, I want to know, where are you? What are you writing today? Answer in the chat. And then our rotating question, our sort of writerly question is, what have you been doing to get into your writing groove lately? What have you been doing lately just to get in there, to feel good, make the writing feel good, get the creative juices going? I want to know what kind of strategies or what you've been doing. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe, turn notifications on, and feel free to give this video a like. And apologies for the airplane that's flying directly over my head right now. If this is your first time, I'm so happy you're here. This is Write With Us. What is Write With Us? Well, we're going to do 3 writing sprints. We're going to do a 15-minute writing sprint, then we're going to do a 25-minute writing sprint. And then at the end, depending on how much we talk, we'll see how much time we have, but we'll do up to a 30-minute writing sprint. And then, during those sprints, there'll be a timer on the screen. I'll play some music, and you'll just work on whatever project it is that you came here to work on. This is a time for us to sort of work independently together. So we're all here together, but we're all working on our own projects. And then during the breaks between the sprints, I like to answer screenwriting questions. So if you have any screenwriting questions, you can put them in the chat for me, and we can talk about them later. I love it can be kind of a general writing question, or like something kind of specific to what you're writing. And it just, it's great to dig in and talk about craft. And then, of course, during the second writing break, I'm going to show the sandwich of the week, which is always a highlight of the day. So to answer these 3 questions myself, I am in Los Angeles, California. It is a sunny and slightly chilly day, or maybe just in the shade, but it's kind of a beautiful December day in Los Angeles. I'm working on a TV pilot script, and I'm feeling the groove of it. I think that's why I asked this question of the week. Sometimes you feel like when you're writing, you get that sort of downhill momentum. I always think it's funny that the phrase "things are going downhill" is a negative thing, because going downhill is fantastic. It feels great. I want to repurpose it. Going downhill just means everything's easy. You're just coasting. But sometimes, writing when it's flowing, it can feel like you're riding a bike downhill or just coasting downhill. So that's what it's been like for me lately. Which kind of brings us to the third question of what have I been doing to kind of keep this groove going? And I was thinking about this. Sometimes I feel like your writing practice kind of needs to match the tone almost of what you're writing. Or it doesn't have to, but it can be helpful. So this thing I'm working on right now kind of has a horror vibe to it. So I've been writing in the dark, I guess. I mean, not sitting, in a dark room or anything, but at night or early in the morning. So waking up early, writing for an hour, when the sun's not fully up yet. So it's not pitch black, but it's still just it's not the bright blinding sun, and that fits the mood. And then at night, writing again, also after dark, just has really been working well for me, and putting just some groovy music on that fits with that. And just been getting into it. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been, it's been going great. Let's see, everyone. We got Niche in West LA. Welcome. Craig in St. Louis, work on your novel. Goals to have a vomit draft done before the end of it. Get in the group by just opening Butterdocs and getting into it. Oh, fantastic. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, that's honestly one of the things I love about Arc Studio and Butterdocs, which obviously I'm going to put a little plug here, is that they just feel really nice to work in. They're powerful app. There's a lot of features in there, but you can kind of make all that go away, and it almost feels minimalist, and it's just good. It's nice to get into a groove there. Hola from Cabo. Bienvenidos. Glad you're here. Cash in Texas, writing more segments for his anthology film. Sometimes listen to music that fits the feeling of what I want the scene to be like. Yeah, I mean, that's totally if I'm writing a noir thing or a thriller thing, I love finding music that to fit that mood. Definitely. Niche, ending web series today. Like to have a good cup of coffee, watch a YouTube or 2. Sometimes I get inspiration. The YouTube thing, that's dangerous for me, because sometimes a YouTube or 2 for me can turn into 37 minutes of just YouTube, because it's they know how to get you. But the coffee thing, definitely. It's weird. I only started drinking coffee regularly when I was building my writing routine. I've talked about this on Write With Us before, but I was going to a coffee shop. This was right after college. And I was going to the coffee shop in Santa Fe, New Mexico every morning, and having a latte and a blueberry muffin and writing. And that's kind of when I started. It was it became like a signal to my brain that like, okay, it's writing time. And I think that's the power of habit. Sometimes is like you just kind of train your body to be like, okay, we're gonna do it now. Tara, also in chilly LA. Yeah, I'm like actually slightly cold. Like I've got my sweatshirt on, but like I don't know. I might like turn this. I have a little space heater in here that I might turn on. Working on a proof of concept short film. Awesome. Sometimes music when writing that fits the vibe, especially for quick cuts and montages that have some fun music underneath. Yeah, definitely going around that. I feel like, yeah, finding the right music for your vibe, which goes to say when we're playing or when I'm playing music during Write With Us, you can always like mute it and like play your own music. I won't feel bad about that at all. I didn't make the music. Go for it. So do what you want. Sid in Chicago, currently in New York, working on my first narrative fiction feature script, a psychological horror film. Awesome. Fantastic. That sounds fun. Sid, so glad you're here. I'm not sure if this is your first time, but if it is, welcome, Sid. It's awesome. I like that you fled the winter in Chicago to New York. So it's like you gained a few degrees, but not too many. Sweet Willie in Chicago, finding an arduous time finding an agent or manager for my script. I mean, it's a tough time right now. And, on Write With Us, we mainly focus on the craft of writing. That's kind of what this is. There are other times out here. Actually, I'll talk about this tomorrow, but we're doing or I'll talk about this later, but we're doing an event tomorrow with Franklin Leonard, the founder of The Blacklist. And we're going to kind of talk more a little bit about like the industry at large. But today, kind of mostly we'll be talking about the craft of writing. Charles in Denver, working on a science fiction coming of age screenplay, adding to my scheduled time to write, keep my computer close to me so that when inspiration hits, I can write it down. Yeah, I love that. I love that feeling. This was happening to me recently where it's like when I'm going to bed, even I'll like shut my computer and then like be going to bed and then be like, oh, wait. And then like run back out to where my laptop is and just like write one more thought down. Yeah, that can be fantastic. Sid's to get into the writing, Sid's saying, try to recall scenes from film that made me viscerally uncomfortable. Ooh, that's great. That's exciting. I mean, inspiration can be so great. I love if I'm writing in a particular genre, like kind of curating a playlist, or sometimes I'll like even text some of my friends who are like real film nerds and be like, hey, I'm writing something like this. Give me like 5 movies that I should watch. And I'll just get like boom, 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 and like watch those to like really get in the headspace of that genre. In Virginia, currently working multiple films and TV shows. I'm trying to pass this off to a studio specialist in this. Cool. Well, don't write too many at once, I would say. I mean, like, you know what, do whatever works for you. But it can be also good. Just make sure you're focusing. Cause like, at least for me, and maybe I'm just speaking from my own experience. If I'm trying to do too many things at once, like it gets too rough and I can't focus on anything. Ken in Nashville, but from Brooklyn, where you are for the holidays, working on a TV pilot inspired by creating visuals for my scenes. So I use ChatGPT to create them. Maybe you can talk about like AI a little bit about that. And like, I don't know. It's always interesting to like writers. I feel like they're very polarized. Some people are like, yeah, it's part of my process. I use it for certain things. Some people want absolutely nothing to do with it, but it's interesting to like see how people are choosing to use it. And Sid, this is your first time here. Welcome. I hope you have a great time. I hope you get some great writing done. And we, yeah. Oh, and you're coming to California. It's pretty nice out here. I'm very soft. I live on the West Coast. Awesome. And Jen, hi, Jen. Welcome. All right, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start with the 15-minute writing sprint. And this one is like very chill. The music's very chill. I like to think of this as the warm-up sprint. Oftentimes I'll just like read over what I was working on before. Or just kind of like get into the zone, kind of remember, get my characters' headspaces, like what were they doing, what were they thinking, what was I excited about, where did I leave off, and just kind of like by the end of this 15-minute sprint, just kind of want to be in that groove. But like it's very low pressure. It's like a very low key sprint. I feel like that's why it's the warm up sprint. And Jen in SoCal as well. First time here. Awesome. We got a few first timers. That's fantastic. Working on your first screenplay, horror, thriller genre, graphic designer by day. So glad you're here. We got some horror going on today. May the vibes be freaky a little bit. May they be a little scary. All right. So 15 minutes on the clock. We're going to get going. If you have screenwriting questions, please feel free to put that in the chat, and we can talk about them during the next break. So yeah, if you something particular in your script you're working on, or just a general writing question, get it in there. But 15 minutes on the clock. Let's do it. All right, that is the end of the first writing sprint. I'm going to keep my voice nice and calm and low and slow to match with the vibe that we're feeling right now. I always think of that as the spa writing sprint. Like I feel like we should have cucumber water or something as we're doing that one. But yeah, that was the first writing sprint, the 15-minute writing sprint. We have 2 more writing sprints to go. Welcome to everyone who joined during that writing sprint. This is Write With Us. We're doing writing sprints. We're talking about writing. We're having a good time here on this Wednesday afternoon or evening or night, depending on where you are in the world. Sometimes we have people like in Australia joining and stuff, which is really exciting, but kind of crazy. How'd that first writing sprint go for you guys? Are the muses with us today? Were you able to kind of get in the zone, or are we struggling a little bit? For me, it actually felt really good. I was writing this morning, and like I said, I'm just kind of being in this groove, so I was able to like get into it pretty quickly. So fingers crossed that this keeps going. I'm excited how many first timers we've got here. We've got like a couple other people, who have joined, which is pretty exciting. I hope you guys like it. I mean, mostly I just hope you like have a productive session. And because that's really what this is all about, is just like dedicating some time to your writing and really like concentrated time and putting away distractions and getting into that. A couple questions that I want to get into. This one from is it Tatty, or I'm not exactly sure if that's actually your name, or it's always funny with the YouTube handles. I don't know if it's people's names. So put your name in the chat. Let me know. Do you recommend we get our work copyrighted before submitting anywhere to avoid having ideas stolen? This is a really good question. And it's a very common feeling that writers have because you put so much of yourself into your writing, so much time and just like effort, like it's really hard. And then you have this thing and you're like, oh my gosh, what if someone steals it? And then it just, all this was for nothing. Personally, I would say 2 things. One, yeah, totally. It's easy with the Copyright Office. You can do it and it's like not that big of a deal. And if it makes you feel more secure, then just totally go for it. But the second thing, I think I wouldn't worry too much about having your ideas stolen. And that's mainly because when you're trying to like build your way as a writer, trying to like break in, you want as many people as possible really to like read your stuff. So you kind of need to have like a mindset of like expansiveness and like just getting out there in the world and like having people read your stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's also like ideas, I think personally, are overrated. Like anyone can have an idea, right? Anyone can have an idea. Like what separates writers is that we can actually do something with the idea. So like even if someone steals your idea, they're not going to really do it the same way you did it. Like it's going to be different. I mean, this is just my feelings. This is broad statements. Obviously, there are particular things that can happen. I'm not saying no one's ever stolen an idea before. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like you want people to read your stuff and you want to write it in such a way that like it can't really be stolen because it's like your expression of the idea. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my thought on that. Cash was asking, would it be all right with you if I started a thread on the forum where I place my ideas that I don't know where to go with them? So you're kind of looking for feedback or something on ideas? I mean, it's sure. Yeah. I mean, you can try it and see if people want to respond, like give you feedback. Yeah. This is kind of the opposite of worrying about getting your ideas stolen. You want like people to contribute to them. Give it a shot. Nephew joined. Welcome. Doing some work for your class, waiting at the last minute. Well, hopefully this is a concerted time where you can get that work done. Tar, another question here. When's a good time to go from the outline to the beat board? I have a Google Doc of detailed bullet points, but don't know the ending yet. So look, everyone has a different writing process. So really whatever works for you. I tend to go and use the beat board pretty early because I just like having things up there kind of like in the acts and just kind of like seeing where it is. Because I think putting things up on a beat board also lets you know like which part of your script is a little thin. Like sometimes maybe you think that like, yeah, no, it's pretty good. And then you're like, okay, yeah, my opening act is pretty good. And then you're like, oh, this is actually, there's not much here. So really, I mean, to answer your question directly, you don't need to know the ending to like put things up on a beat board. Sometimes putting it up on a beat board and like seeing it up there can help. So it's really like what works for you, and try different things. Like try your, try to find your strategy, because I think it can be helpful to like talk to other writers about their process. but only so much of that will be useful to you because just all of our brains are different. Like we all approach work in very different ways. Like my way of writing is I mainly do like free writes where I talk to myself. Like I do like, okay, so what are we doing? And I literally say we and what like I talk about myself in the third person, and like that's just how I work through my ideas. And like other people they saw that might think something was wrong with me. So it's like really about finding the process that works for you. Let's see here. How are people doing here? Niche was doing well. I love the spa experience. Very focused. Fantastic. Makes me happy. Cash. I feel like SpongeBob writing the 800-page paper about what not to do at a stoplight. I need to watch more SpongeBob because I don't know that reference. But Jen appreciated it. It's Cash. So you found your office. Jen's waiting for your facialist to arrive. Fantastic. Don, writing from Lagos. Here we go. So this is someone who is either very up very early or very late. First time here now, working on a web series that I was hired. Right. Fantastic, Don. Well, I hope you make some great progress on it. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Let's see here. And Tatiana. All right. Tatty is nicknamed. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, I think that's a great start. I feel like I'm feeling a good vibe today, guys. And so I think we should just kind of like keep that moving and move into the second writing sprint. But briefly, I just want to say, I mentioned earlier that we are doing an event tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific, and it'll be on YouTube after that if you can't make it live. But I'm going to be talking with Franklin Leonard, who's the founder and CEO of The Blacklist. And if you guys have been like, following the industry at all, it's been like kind of rough for screenwriters with like the strikes and problems with streaming and AI and like corporate mergers. And there's just been like a lot going on. So there's been like this motto people have said, which is like survive till 25, that like hopefully things will get back going in 2025. And then some people have changed that to exist till 26, which is a more negative way of looking at it. But I'm going to be talking about that with Franklin Leonard tomorrow, like, where we are in the screenwriting industry, how we got here, what's in the, like, what might be coming next, but also kind of like what can writers do, on their own? Because it's like there's these big forces at work, but like what can you do personally in order to like kind of push your writing forward and your career forward. So you can RSVP for that at arcstudiopro.com/events. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to arcstudiopro.com/events in the descriptions. And it should be, this is even more negative. Don't go to heaven before 27. Oh man, that's brutal. I can't go that far. It can't happen too much. Here we go. Here's a positive spin on it. 15-minute sprint is dope. Fantastic. Anyway, so check that out. Franklin Leonard, founder and CEO of Blacklist. Really, I mean, he's got just like plugged into the industry, and he like has some really good insights about like where we are today. So yeah, check that out. All right, now I want to keep writing. I think we all want to keep writing. So I'm gonna start up the 25-minute writing sprint. If you have any more questions or anything, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we're going to talk about them in the next break. But 25 minutes on the clock. Let's do this thing. Oh my gosh, sorry. I was like in the zone, completely zoned out on the fact that the sprint had ended and then started the timer again because I was discombobulated, which I think is a good sign. I'm just going to take that as like a good sign that the writing was going well for me personally. Let me know how it was going for you. That second writing sprint, did the muses show up for anyone? Did they abandon anyone else? Yeah, how's the writing going today? What are you working on? What are you like working through? Are any issues? Are you stuck on anything? Any questions about like, I don't know, character, theme, your dialogue, the structure, anything that you're working on? You can chat. We can chat about it a little bit. Get in the chat, ask your questions. Let me know. I think some other people show up. Indra from Atlanta. So glad you're here. A lot of like new names in the chat, which is always exciting, and always love when we have more people here at Write With Us. And like we're in a really cool little community, and to see it grow and more people join has been fantastic and awesome. I'm glad you were writing. All right, so yeah, speaking of this wonderful little community, we are doing it again next week at the same time. And you can RSVP at arcstudiopro.com/events. Yeah, Write With Us next week, December 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, should be a great time. I look forward to it every week. And all right, now I'm going to do this thing, which is called the sandwich of the week, which if you're a new person, you might be like, what is going on? What is this? Well, it's really simple. Every week, I like to show the basically best sandwich I made of that week. So this is my sandwich. Yum. And yeah, it's just like a beautiful little sandwich. And I like to put in a nice little frame for you guys to just like make it feel special. Yeah, so this is the bread rosemary polenta from the farmer's market, and I think like the highlight of this is the pickled onions, which is like the pink right there. It's just like popping and like matching with these little flowers. I love Canva and just like finding these frames. And yeah, look at this beautiful sandwich. We got, what else we got in there? We got sun-dried tomatoes, avocado, greens, turkey, mayo, mustard, and yeah, and of course the pickled onions, the homemade pickled onions, which are fantastic. So there we go. That's right, pickled onions. Looks delicious. Love it. Thank you. This is just like, this is what I live for. I mean, writing's fine, I guess. I enjoy that, whatever, but like sandwiches is where my heart truly lies. So love it. Afternoon tea vibes. That's true. Yeah, I guess that is like, it has that. Well, this probably sandwich is a little big for afternoon tea, but it does have like a little English. I don't know. I'm picturing like British ladies sitting around with like hats on with these flowers. This could be like an invite to a tea. Love it. Jen's, I paid for my first carb with sweet sandwich money from working at a lunch spot. Oh, there we go. Well, then, like, I love like this community, like the love for sandwiches that we have here. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It really just does like kick it up a notch. The pickled onions is fantastic. All right. Well, here's the actual writing question. I'm writing something that I'm also planning to direct and want the actors to work somewhat improvisationally. Do you have any recommendations for a script you'll use that way? I mean, it depends on the level of improvisation. Wow, I need to like, hold on 1 second. With the sandwich, the question was like covering my face. Yeah, so it depends on the level of improvisation. So for instance, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is something which is just like very improvisational, like almost completely improvisational. They basically kind of more have like an outline and they'll talk about the scene and some things, but like they don't really have dialogue. So it depends on how you want to approach it. A lot of times, writers will just kind of start with like the script kind of, and like record that. And then as you do more takes, let people riff and just kind of like build off of it. So you can kind of start sometimes with, if you just want to be pure improv, like you don't even necessarily have any dialogue. It's more just kind of like a list of the beats kind of that you want to hit in the scene, and you talk through it with your actors, maybe rehearse it. Or just write the scene almost normally with some dialogue that's kind of like in the ballpark of what you want to do, and then let the actors play with it. And like, obviously, the trick for that is just casting people that are very comfortable with improv, which, if you're doing it in New York or LA, like is not a problem. You're going to find a ton of improvisers. But yeah, it really depends just like on the approach here. Sorry, back to sandwiches. What if you were to build a hoagie shop and snapshot it in high contrast black and white called a hoagie a la bogey? That's fantastic. What were some? I feel like we've had some other pitches for my sandwich shop name that I can't remember, but like I love this first off because like I'm a huge like Humphrey Bogart fan and like noir in general. Like Philip Marlowe, my dog's name is Marlowe because he's always sticking his nose where it don't belong. So hoagie a la bogey is fantastic. I think the only problem with that is that I like I'm from LA, so I don't call them hoagies. Like I feel like that would be inauthentic to my lived experience to call it a hoagie. But like someone from like a part of the country where you do hoagies should definitely do that. Yeah. Um, oh yeah, Chicago definitely. I mean, you have what Second City there and IO. Improv in yeah. I mean, Chicago's like that's like the home of improv. So you're gonna get like so many actors for that project. That sounds really exciting. Awesome. All right, y'all. Cool. I'm loving it. Loving the energy today. I think we should just like do what we came here to do and do the final writing sprint. Let's see. We got a lot of time, so I think we're gonna do the full 30-minute writing sprint. I will just quickly say again, RSVP for next week. RSVP for tomorrow night's event with Franklin Leonard. It's going to be a live conversation. You can ask your questions. I'll try to work them into the conversation. And then, of course, that will also be available on YouTube afterwards. Here's one last thing, and then we can jump to the writing. I'm writing a critique for a fellow student in my group who keeps writing a different version of the same story, and I'm trying to write my critique the same but different. Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes there's only so much you can do. Like you can only give the same note so many times. So just like do whatever you can, try to be helpful, but ultimately, it's the writer's choice. That's like the thing about notes is really, you just kind of have to do it like in a spirit of take what you will, like ultimately this is your choice. So, don't worry, don't stress out too much about it. All right. So before we hop into this last sprint, if you have to leave during the sprint, no worries. This is definitely like come and go as you please kind of situation. If you do leave though during the writing sprint, I love people saying farewell in the chat, letting me know how the writing went. Just like a nice little like way to end things. Like what did you get done today? And again, I hope to see some of you tomorrow night, and I hope to see you guys next week at Write With Us on December 11th. And if you do leave before the end and I don't get to say my final farewell, I will say farewell. And thank you so much for joining us and being part of the Write With Us community. Let's do it. Jump into the 30-minute sprint. And for those who stick around for the whole time, I'll catch you on the other side. Thanks for coming, everybody. Could just hear the music winding down there at the end. I was like, oh, we're done. Wow, what a great session today. Thank you all for showing up. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I hope you got as much writing done as I did, because I feel like I was trucking along there for a while. So yeah, thanks again for coming. Let me know how it went. I hope to see you tomorrow night. I'm doing the event with Franklin Leonard about the state of the screenwriting industry and how we got here, what might be coming next, and kind of what screenwriters can do about it. And you can RSVP. That's tomorrow night. You can RSVP at arcstudiopro.com/events. And you can also RSVP for next week's Write With Us, which will be same time, same place, and we're going to be doing the same thing, except you're going to be making progress. So it's not the same thing. It's moving forward. Again, all right. So yeah, that's it for me. Had a great time. Thanks all for coming. And if this was your first time, I hope you liked it. I hope you come back. There were a lot of new names in the chat, and I want to see them again. So please come back. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Be kind to yourselves, and happy writing.